Everyone has a childhood home, a place of scraped knees, birthday parties, and the smell of your mom's cooking drifting through the hallway. Mine was on Elderberry Lane. It was the kind of house that felt safe just because it was familiar. The kind of place where nothing bad was supposed to happen. But for one night when I was 11 years old, it stopped being my home. It became something else entirely, a place where someone came to hunt. And I was the only thing inside. It was the summer of '97. My parents had booked an adults-only weekend at a lake house, their first real break in years. My older sister, Chloe, was supposed to babysit, that was the plan. But Chloe's boyfriend, Mark, got tickets to a concert and suddenly the plan changed. She promised she'd only be gone one night, that she'd stay at her friend Jen's house, and that I'd be fine alone until morning. My parents didn't like it, but after a long talk about locking doors and not opening them for anyone, they finally agreed. I remember smiling so hard my cheeks hurt. I felt grown, like I'd been trusted with something important. The first few hours were perfect. I ate an entire pizza by myself and didn't even feel guilty. I played video games with the volume turned up louder than I was ever allowed. I left lights on in rooms I wasn't even in. The house felt bigger without my family in it, like it was mine. I remember thinking that being alone wasn't scary at all. It was freedom. It was quiet. It was peace. That peace died at exactly 11:47 p.m. I know the time because I had paused my game to go to the bathroom and the clock on the VCR was blinking in the corner of the TV. The house was silent, the kind of silence where you can hear the electricity in the walls, and then I heard something that didn't belong. It wasn't the house settling, it wasn't pipes, it wasn't the wind, it was a scrape, a sharp, deliberate scrape. Metal dragging across concrete coming from the back patio. My whole body went cold, like someone had poured ice water into my stomach. I moved to the kitchen doorway and peered around the corner. The backyard was pitch black, but I could make out the shapes of the patio chairs. And then I saw something move. A shadow peeled away from the oak tree like it had been part of it. It didn't stumble. It didn't rush, it moved slowly, confidently, like it already knew the layout of my yard, like it had stood there before. The shadow reached the back door. The handle moved once. Then again. He wasn't yanking it, he wasn't panicking, he was testing it gently, patiently, like he had all the time in the world. I stopped breathing, I stood there in the dark. Frozen, feeling my pulse hammering in my throat. I should have run for the phone, I should have screamed, I should have done anything. But I didn't. I just watched. And the shadow stepped away from the door and disappeared back into the darkness. And I made the dumbest mistake of my life. I thought it was over. I crept in the living room and grabbed the cordless phone off the base. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped it. I pressed the talk button. No dial tone. I pressed it again. Nothing. The phone was dead, completely dead, not out of range, not crackling, not weak. Dead. And that's when fear stopped being a feeling and became a fact. This wasn't a drunk guy trying doors, this wasn't random. Someone had made sure I couldn't call out, someone had planned for me to be alone. Before I could even think, a loud thump hit the front of the house, then another footstep, slow measured. He wasn't gone. He was circling, checking every entrance like a professional. I ran, not to the phone, not to the kitchen, not to a window. I ran to the hall closet under the stairs and pulled myself inside. Burying my body under winter coats that smelled like mothballs and my dad's cologne, I pulled the door shut so gently it barely clicked. Inside that closet, the darkness felt thick, the air was hot and stale. My breathing sounded too loud, like it was echoing. I could hear my own heartbeat pounding so hard I honestly believed he could hear it too. Then I heard him at the front door. The knob jiggled once. Twice. Then came a sound that made my stomach twist into a knot. A soft metallic jingling keys, my mouth went dry, my eyes burned because I knew what that meant before I even let myself think it. He had a key. Our key. The one my mom kept under the ceramic frog by the front steps, the stupid neighborhood secret that every adult pretended was harmless. The front door creaked open and then the sound of slow footsteps entered the house, not rushed, not heavy, not clumsy. It's late. Would you want to get to see her? Like you wanted me to understand what I was on the line. The lock in the living room stopped right near the closet table where the light pixel bot sat open and what video game was paused in the screen. Picture him standing there looking at it all, taking it in. Knowing a child was inside this house somewhere. Then he moved again. Toward the stairs. Creak. Creak. Every step sounded like the house itself was warning me. He went upstairs. I heard doors open, my parents' room first, then Chloe's drawers sliding, things being moved, a soft clatter like something knocked over on purpose. But it didn't sound like someone searching for jewelry, it sounded like someone exploring, like someone taking their time. Then everything went quiet. So quiet that I could hear the blood rushing in my ears. I don't know how long I sat there. Maybe a minute, maybe 10 times, felt broken, and then creak. The first stair. Creak. The second he was coming back down. Creak. Creak. The footsteps reached the hallway and stopped. Right outside the closet door. I could see the shadow of his shoes under the sliver of light at the bottom. He wasn't pacing, he wasn't moving, he was just standing there, listening. I pressed my hand over my mouth so hard it hurt, I squeezed my eyes shut and prayed. Not like a kid prays when they want a toy, but like someone begging to survive. I promised God anything I promised I'd never lie again. Never disobey again. Never complain again. Just please. And after a long, terrible pause, a voice slid through the darkness, slow. Close. So close it sounded like it was already inside the closet with me. My throat betrayed me, a tiny sound escaped, a choke sob I couldn't hold back. And on the other side of the door, I heard him inhale. A sharp, excited breath like I just confirmed what he wanted to know. Then the fist hit the closet door. Once. Twice. The wood splintered near the handle. The door shook violently and I heard the metal latch strain like it was about to snap. I was staring at the crack forming in the wood, watching it widen, watching it turn into a doorway, and then I saw fingers pushing through the broken gap, searching for the latch. I don't know where the courage came from, but something inside me flipped like a switch. I wasn't a kid in that moment, I was an animal in a trap, and I knew, with terrifying certainty, that if that door opened, I would not get another chance. My hand groped blindly through the coats until it wrapped around something cold and heavy, a metal flashlight. The kind my dad kept for power cuts. The fist hit the door again and the crack widened enough for an arm to reach in. I could see skin, I could see veins, I could see the hand. And I burst out. I swung the flashlight with every ounce of fear and fury in my body. It connecting. Not with the door. With him. There was a sound. A dull, sickening thud followed by a grunt of pain that didn't sound human. For a second he staggered back. And for the first time I caught a glimpse of him, not a full face, just a shape of man tall, wearing dark clothes, and something about the way he moved made my skin crawl. He wasn't shocked, he was annoyed, like I'd interrupted him. I didn't wait to see what he'd do next. I ran through the kitchen and burst out the back door, sprinting into the yard, my feet slipping on the wet grass. I didn't stop until I reached Mr. Henderson's house next door. Screaming and pounding on his door so hard my knuckles tore open, the porch light flicked on the door opened. And I fell inside, sobbing so hard I couldn't speak. The police came fast. They searched the house, the yard, the street, the woods behind the neighborhood. They found the broken lock on the back door. They found muddy footprints on the stairs. They found a cigarette butt on my parents' bed, but they didn't find him. They never caught him. They told my parents he was probably a drifter, someone who saw them leave, someone who got lucky, someone who just wanted to rob the place. But I knew that wasn't true, because he didn't run when he got inside. He didn't rush, he didn't grab things and flee. He walked through my home like he belonged there, like he'd been there before. We moved away a few months later. My parents said it was for a job. They said it was a fresh start. But I knew why we moved. I knew it every time my dad checked locks twice before bed. Every time my mom jumped at the sound of footsteps outside. Every time Chloe stopped leaving spare keys anywhere ever again. But the part of me that never recovered was the part that realized something much worse than a break-in had happened. Because years later, when I was older, my mom finally admitted something she never told me as a kid. The police had theirs, so we nose in the hall steadily. Now it's stalled an items, light a weapon, a small piece of paper, two behind our front, a flame on my coffee cable like he wanted but left. Like he wanted her from. And all that written in messy handwriting was said so hard to stomach was stomach too. What I think about, I like it when you So now, whenever I hear a key in a lock, I still freeze whenever I'm home by myself and the house gets too quiet. I still feel that same cold fear crawl up my spine. 'Cause I learned something at 11 years old that I've never been able to forget. The real horror isn't the monster under the bed. It's the man with the spare key, the one standing outside your door. Patient, quiet, smiling, waiting for you to believe you're safe.